Head of the River, Australia. The Head of the River is a name given to annual Australian rowing regattas held in South Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, Tasmania and Western Australia. The regattas feature competing independent schools, and the winner of the first division boys or girls race is crowned the Head of the River. The name Head of the River is taken from similar regattas held in other countries, including the Head of the River race held annually on the Thames in London since 1926. New South Wales. OBS Head of the River Regatta. The Head of the River takes place in Penrith, New South Wales, Australia at the end of the first term, normally in March at the Sydney International Regatta Centre Cirque. It is the culmination of the OBS Athletic Association of the Great Public Schools rowing season and has been held since 1893, initially on the Parramatta River and then from 1936–1995 on the Nepean River. On the Nepean, the senior events were the first Roman 8, second Roman 8, first Roman 4, second Roman 4, third Roman 4, and fourth Roman 4. The Roman 8s rowed over a mile and a half and the Roman 4s over a mile. In 1996, the regatta was moved to the then preparatory Olympic course and since then raced over 2,000 meters. In 2001, a third Roman 8 event and the 3-year 10 Roman 8 events were added to the program. The competing schools are Sydney Grammar School, the King's School, Newington College, Sydney Boys High School, the Scots College, St. Joseph's College, St. Ignatius College, the Armadale School and Shore School compete at the Head of the River. NSW Schoolgirl Head of the River Regatta. The NSW Schoolgirl Head of the River was first raced in 1991. The inaugural Schoolgirl Head of the River Regatta took place in October 1991 on Middle Harbour Creek at Davidson Park, Roseville. The regatta is now usually held at the Sydney International Regatta Centre Cirque, Penrith on the Saturday following the Schoolboy Head of the River. It is the culmination of the schoolgirls' rowing season that involves crews from independent schools, Catholic colleges, and state high schools. The NSW Schoolgirl Head of the River is organized by the Combined Independent Schools Sports Council. Schools that are eligible to compete in the NSW Schoolgirl Head of the River are all affiliated schools of the NSW Combined Independent Schools Sports Council (NSWSIS). The regatta is run in accordance with rowing NSW laws of boat racing. In 2018, Pymble Ladies College won the first Roman 8 race and then went on to win the Australian National Championships. South Australia. South Australian Schools Head of the River Regatta. The South Australian Head of the River is a collegiate rowing race held between the colleges and schools of Adelaide, Australia. It is the culmination of the Rowing South Australia's schools season and is the most prestigious event on the calendar. Races are generally hard-fought, close encounters that showcase the very best of junior rowing talent, with the winning first Roman 8 crew each year being crowned with the title of Head of the River. Inter and junior coxed quad crews fight for the same honor in their respective divisions. These title races come with immense pressure, with wins considered significant successes for the victorious schools and their rowing programs. The event draws huge crowds of up to 15,000 2010 from across the state, generally consisting of school students, parent supporters, and old scholars. The regatta is currently held at the World Standard course at West Lakes International Regatta Centre and involves junior and inter-coxed quadruple sculling events over 1,000 and 1,500 respectively, as well as senior coxed 4 and 8 races over 2,000. The South Australian Head of the River is held on the second to last Saturday of the first school term of each year. The event had its inception on the Torrens Lake in 1922 as the result of a challenge between St. Peter's and Adelaide High School. However, St. Peter's and their traditional rivals Prince Alfred have been racing for the prestigious Blackmore Shield, which is to be contested only between the two schools since 1892 as part of their intercollegiate program. When the Blackmore Shield changes hands, The captain and vice-captain of boats from the losing school present the shield to their counterparts in front of an assembly of the victorious school. Since 1923, this race has been incorporated into the boys' first Roman 8 race at the head of the river. The trophy presented to the overall winning schoolboy first Roman 8 is the Goss Shield, which was presented by Sir John Goss and his family as a perpetual trophy in 1932. Competing schools are drawn from Adelaide's traditional independent schools and an increasing number of state schools. Since the 1970s, the number of girls competing in the regatta has steadily increased, resulting in now larger numbers of female rowers than male competing at the regatta. Seymour College, an all-girls school, gained entry to the regatta in 2006, and Annesley College, an all-girls school, competed for the first time in 2007. Loreto College, Marryatville first competed in 2012, and St. Peter's Collegiate Girls School entered in 2013. Currently 15 schools compete in the regatta, 3 all-boys schools, 5 all-girls schools, and 7 coeducational schools. At the 2019 Head of the River, hosted by Pembroke School, there were a total of 1162 athletes entered into the regatta's 36 events. Until 2005, the Head of the River was officially known as the Public Schools Regatta. The name has since been changed to the Schools Regatta by the Heads of Rowing Schools Committee, a committee of the headmasters/principals of the Head of the River schools. Second Roman 8s, Sin 8s. The Clinker Roman 4 event was constituted the second cruises race in 1938 and was rowed in 8s from 1957. Open, under 16 and under 15. These events were rowed on fixed seats until the introduction of slides for open and under 16 fours in 1937 and under 15 fours in 1938. In 1932 and 1933, open tub slides were rowed as well as open fixed, and were won both years by SPSC. Under 14 quad sculls. Coxed quad sculls replaced sweep or fours in Division in 1991, Division B in 1992, Division C in 1993. Competing schools. South Australian Head of the River boys results. Boys Open first Roman 8 for the Goss Shield. Boys Open second Roman 8 for the Wallman Trophy. Schoolboy first Roman 4 for the Cudmore Cup 2000. Boys Year 10 a quadruple sculls for the Men's Cup 1500. Boys Ye. Boys Ye. Hi. Is Ye. Boys Ye. Days Ye. Days Ye. Days Ye. South Australian Head of the River girls results. Girls Open first Roman 8 for the Florence Eaton Cup 2022. Walford. Girls Open second Roman 8 for the Adelaide HS Centenary Cup 2000. Girls Year 10 a quadruple sculls for the Denise Collins Cup 1500. Queensland. Queensland Head of the River Regatta. The Head of the River for schoolboys is contested between 7 of the 9 GPS Great Public Schools in Brisbane, with schools Brisbane Boys College, Brisbane Grammar School, Brisbane State High School, Anglican Church Grammar School, St. Joseph's College, Gregory Terrace, the Southport School and St. Joseph's Nudgee College competing. The GPS Head of the River has been held since 1918, with Southport winning in the inaugural year. The races have been held on the Milton Reach of the Brisbane River, Wivenhoe Dam, Hinds Dam, Lake Kelowna, and now race at Wirralong Dam. Crowds of several thousand attend the annual championship regatta at Lake Kelowna, but in earlier years there are reports of both sides of the river being lined with spectators and tens of thousands attending. Queensland Girls Head of the River Regatta. On 13 October 1990, the inaugural Schoolgirls Head of the River was held on the Milton Reach of the Brisbane River. The 7 schools that competed were All Hallows School, Brisbane State High School, St. Aidan's Anglican Girls' School, St. Hilda's School, St. Margaret's Anglican Girls' School, St. Peter's Lutheran College, and Somerville House. 16 events were competed with 118 competitors and 3 entries in the Open 8+. The newly formed Brisbane Schoolgirls Rowing Association conducted the Head of the River with additional competitors from Brisbane Girls Grammar School, Clayfield College, Indooroopilly State High School, Kelvin Grove State High School, and Stuartholme School. By 1992, entries in the Open 8+ had doubled to 6, the number of events expanded to 19, and 11 schools competed. Bundaberg Head of the River Regatta. A Head of the River competition is also held among Bundaberg schools. It is held on an annual basis and has been for the past 18 years. All Bundaberg secondary schools except for the Bundaberg Christian College participate in the regatta. These schools are Bundaberg North SHS, Bundaberg SHS, Kepnock SHS, St. Luke's Anglican College, Gingin SHS, and Shalom Catholic College. St. Luke's Anglican recently broke Shalom's 20-year winning streak over the other schools for the Travel World Overall Points Trophy with a score of 123 to 65. Victoria. VIC Head of the River Regatta. The Victorian race is contested between the 11 associated public schools of Victoria APS. The race is usually the last race of the official APS rowing season and has recently been rowed on Lake Nagambi, which is a full-buoyed international standard course allowing 6 boat finals. VIC Head of the Schoolgirls Regatta. 1984 was the final year that schoolgirls from non-APS schools participated in the APS Head of the River. As a result of being barred from further competition in the APS Regatta, the principal of Morongo Girls' School initiated a meeting that established in the Head of Schoolgirls Regatta, founded on the basic principle that any school could compete. The first host was held in 1985 at Ballarat with 7 events, 16 schools, and 240 competitors. In 1987, the event moved to Geelong. In 1991, the Haas Regatta Committee became an incorporated association. In 2013, the Haas Regatta was contested by 35 schools and 1766 competitors. Western Australia. WA Head of the River Regatta. The Perth race held in late summer/early autumn is contested between the 7 public schools association members. The regatta consists of many races with points contributing to the Hamer Cup, and in the final race of the day, the first Roman 8 crews from each school compete for the Head of the River trophy. Originally the race was run on the Swan River, then Canning River, near Canning Bridge. Since 2009, the event has been held at the purpose-built rowing course at Champion Lakes, Kelmscott. Records have tumbled since the venue change, with records set in 2009 and 2010. The current record time for the 2000 event is 5 minutes 48.2 seconds. WA Head of the Schoolgirls Regatta. In the winter, several private Perth girls' schools race for the title. Tasmania. The Tasmanian Head of the River is currently held at the Lake Barrington rowing course. Held over the full championship distance, the schools associated with SATI Sports Association of Tasmanian independent schools from both the north and south of the state compete for the event. The Hutchins School, Launceston Church Grammar, the Friends School, Guildford Young College, Scotch Oakburn College, St. Patrick's College, and St. Brendan Shaw College all compete in the boys' race, while St. Michael's Collegiate School, the Friends School, Fahan School, Scotch Oakburn College, St. Patrick's College, St. Mary's College, and Launceston Church. The Head of the River Regatta is often held the Saturday before Easter. However, in 2006, the Head of the River was postponed for the first time in its Tasmanian history, with a limited regatta program being amalgamated into the Tasmanian Masters Regatta. This was able to cater for the main races, with Hutchins taking out the boys' Head of the River trophy and St. Michael's Collegiate School the girls. In 2007, Scotch Oakburn won their first Head of the River in a decade in a tight race with just a second between themselves, Launceston Church Grammar and the Hutchins School. The chance for Hutchins to claim their 5th consecutive title was denied. The Friends School came a distant 4th place after much hype. In the girls' event, the dominant Friends School crew won easily over Launceston Church Grammar, with surprise combination coming from Fahim School gaining second place. In 2008, the Hutchins School regained the title from Scotch Oakburn in a close race, with St. Patrick's College in third. The following year, the Hutchins School won, after being challenged all season by a strong St. Patrick's College crew. In third spot was Scotch Oakburn College. In 2010, the Hutchins School won, having dominant performances throughout the season. Scotch Oakburn collected up second spot, and the Friends crew came in third. The 2011 Tasmanian Schoolboys Head of the River saw yet another dominant performance from the Hutchins School, taking the win by 10 seconds from Scotch Oakburn, with Friends placing third. In girls' race, the victors were Grammar, with Scotch Oakburn placing second. In 2012, the Head of the River champions were Launceston Church Grammar for the girls and the Hutchins School for the boys. In 2013, the underdog crew from Scotch Oakburn took out the Head of the River by a margin of 2 lengths to the Hutchins School, who had a dominant season and went into the race as favorites. This prevented Hutchins from a 6th title and gave Scotch Oakburn their first win in 6 years. Closely in third, the Friends School. First Roman 8 Tasmanian Schoolboys Head of the River